So today we're going to do the handover video on the Autotrail Apache. We're going to start on the outside and then we're going to move on to the inside. So firstly, coming over to the passenger side, you can see that you've got your fill-up points. If you open this up, you've got your diesel which goes straight into there. And whilst I'm on the passenger side, opening up the door, you'll notice that you've got your bonnet release catch, which is just here. Pull that to release the bonnet. Before walking round to the side as well, you have got remise cab blinds on this vehicle, which are really easy to operate. All you need to do is simply pinch the little handle like that, or the little clip rather, which will release it. Then you can then pull it down and let it link up to the side like so. You've got these in all the cab, so you've got them on the front window and also the side windows. And once you've done, all you need to do is simply pinch back and pull it like so. Lead it from the bottom, let it connect up into this here, and then you're good to go. As a rule of thumb with these, and this is for anything in a motorhome, if it feels like it's being forced, you are probably doing something wrong, so please do bear that in mind. So if it feels like it's getting caught, just take a bit of time just to take care with what you're doing, and then you can simply put it back into place. Now moving back underneath the bonnet, if I come round here, I'm going to lift this up for you now and just point out a couple things underneath here. Now once underneath here, there's not many things that you need to know, to be honest, but the main things are if you ever jump starting the vehicle. If that is the case, your positive terminal is just onto here underneath this clip with the little positive symbol there. So positive onto there, and your negative is onto this little terminal here at the front. Whilst the bonnet is open, just to show you a couple more things, you've got your engine oil here along with your dipstick below. Your brake disc fluid is next. Your engine coolant is down here. Power steering fluid just below that, above that rather, and then into there is your washer fluid, which as you can see has been set up to be filled up. They're the main things that you need to know underneath the bonnet, and now we're going to go on to the side of the vehicle. Moving around to the other side of the vehicle, you'll firstly notice that you've got your cap here. In here, this is for your 230 mains hookup point, and this will give you, when you're on site, 230 volt electric, so you can use your sockets and everything in the vehicle. So that just connects into there. Moving on, you've got a storage locker here, which you can put all your gear in, and is an external point on the van. You've then got your fill-up point for your water, which is your fresh water. All you need to do is get your key, unscrew this to take the cap out, and then using a food grade hose pipe, put your food grade hose pipe in here and fill the tank up with water. When it's coming out, you know that it's full and you've completely filled up the tank. Once you're at that point, you can then screw this back on and you're good to go. Now you've got, whilst we're on the topic of your water, you have got three main drain down points in your vehicle. You've got your freshwater drain down point, which would be for this. You've got your wastewater drain down point and your boiler drain down point. Three very important aspects to the vehicle, and need to always make sure that they are drained down, especially in the winter months when not using the vehicle. So to drain down the freshwater tank, it's very simple. Underneath the vehicle, you'll notice if I come back here, which is just in line with a 230 volt socket, you have got a pipe. It's a grey pipe. This is indicated for your freshwater tank. This is how you drain down that tank. All you need to do is pull that handle down, that will open the tank and drain all the system. So when you're on site, you'll have a big grid, you'll drive over that, pull that lever, and that'll drain out everything. When you are travelling as well, you do need to make sure you're not travelling with water due to weight and weight distribution. So just make sure that that is all drained down when travelling and also not using the vehicle. So that's your first one, that's your your freshwater drain down point, and your wastewater is at the back, which I'll show you in a minute when we get to that. So moving on from the freshwater, on this side of the vehicle, you've got a point for your shower, an external shower point, and you have got the option of having it hot or cool, which is really handy. Obviously, once this is connected, you need to make sure that your pump is on in the inside of the vehicle and you've got water pulling through. Once you've done that, you can use your shower. I'll show you how to turn your pump on in the inside of the vehicle. Next, you've got your fridge vents, which are here. Your fridge vents you need to be mindful of this is where obviously the fridge is getting all of its air from, which it's using to cool the fridge. Now if it's a hot day and you've got the sun beating down on this side of the vehicle, try and keep this under shade or turn the vehicle around just to bear that in mind. Obviously the cooler this area is, the more efficient the fridge is going to work, so do bear that in mind. You can buy winter covers as well for these should you want to ever store the van in winter. Now moving on, you'll notice you've got like a little vent here which says Truma on here. This is for your heating system, and all this is your Truma vent. In essence, it's your chimney for your heater. It does get very hot this, so do be careful of that. Now directly below that, as I mentioned, your wastewater drain down is the only thing, as your second drain down rather, which is on the outside of the van. Your fresh is at the front, as I've shown you. Your waste is just at the back, and as you can see by this pipe here, which is just hung up at the moment, if I get underneath the vehicle, you can see there's a little lever similar to the other one which you can pull and drain down. So all you need to do is pull that, drain it down, and that will drain into a large grid on site, and that is for your wastewater. What I recommend is whilst we're on the topic of the drain downs, once you've drained it all down, you've left the valve open, when you're travelling off site, say for example you're going home, leave all them drain down points open, because as you're travelling, the vibrations of the road are going to get all that remaining water out of the tank. Moving to the back, you've got your storage area, which I'll open up for you now. And with this open, as you can see, it gains you access to the large garage space. You have another access door on the other side as well. On the back of the vehicle, you can see that you've got your bike rack on this specific van, along with a reversing camera which is built in to the side, along with some ladders there if you ever wanted to jump on the roof to give it a clean. On the other side of the vehicle, as I mentioned, on the other side you have got your access to your garage. Opening this up, you will notice some electrics and things. You can see there's some pipes, that's for your heating, which runs throughout the vehicle, and on this side that is just your pump for your water system. You don't need to do anything with that. The only thing that you do need to know about is your final drain down point, which is for your boiler. And in the back there you can see, it's quite hard to see on camera, but there's a little yellow valve which is a little switch. At the moment it's in the down position, but if you put that up, that will drain down your boiler system, which is internal to the vehicle. That is your final drain down point, and again, as I mentioned, with your waste and your fresh, you need to make sure that is completely open when travelling, and also, most importantly, open when not using the vehicle, because you don't want to get frozen water in the system. If I get a little bit closer to that, just to show you, you can see it's just a simple little switch, which all you need to do is flick up, and then you can drain down the entire system. At the moment, in that down position, it is closed, so it's completing the circuit. But to drain that down, as I mentioned, just flick it up. Coming to the other side now, moving on, you'll notice you've got a similar point to what you had on the other side as for your shower point. However, this is for your barbecue. So you've got an external barbecue with this, which will be on a bayonet fitting. You need to connect that into there. Turn your gas on and let that flow through, and then you can use an external barbecue point. You've then got a toilet cassette, which is on this side, which I'll open up for you now. With the cassette locker door open, you can see that it gains you access to the cassette. Now, removing this, you need to pull up on this little tab here and pull out like so. Now, before doing that, you need to make sure that the blade on the toilet is closed, because if the blade is open, you'll come to remove this and it'll get jammed, and some customers have been tempted to pull on it and then it'll break it. So please make sure that the blade on the toilet is closed. I'll show you that when we're on the inside of the van. Once you've done that, you can then remove it all the way like so, pull it out, and then that is your cassette. Now, to empty this, all you need to do is pull out this little funnel here and unscrew the cap. Using the little orange button on the back, just there, click that, hold that in, and that will release a vacuum which is internal to the cassette, and will get rid of all the contents inside. You will notice that there's this little switch here as well, this little terminal which turns and moves about. Always leave it in this position, you should never need to move it. This will allow you to close and open the cassette. But as I say, this should always remain in this position. You should never need to move that, because in essence, if this is slightly off, you'll go to put that back in the van and it'll get jammed. So please make sure it's in that position. You should never ever need to move that. Whilst we're here as well, you can put blue fluid in the top of this cap to put it in there to wash out the system. But with the cap back on and the funnel back in, line that up like so, push in and let it clip into there, and then you're good to go. Next up, just coming past your habitation door, you've got your gas locker, which is just here, which I'll open up for you now. With the gas locker open, gains you access to the location where the gas bottles can connect to your regulator. When travelling, please make sure that the gas bottles are turned off due to health and safety, but when on site you can turn your gas bottles on using a pigtail that will connect them through and feed the gas through, and ultimately allow you to power up things like the hob and stuff like that. So that now concludes the outside of the motorhome. We're going to move on to the inside.